So, good evening, everybody. Like I say, this is a dual cast tonight. We're going out live on Twitter and on Periscope, the app as well, and we're going out live on Facebook. Just going to double check, balance my microphone first of all. Going to double check what's going on Facebook, see if people are knocking around. It is coming through loud and clear on Facebook. Thank you for that, which is all good. And I'm monitoring myself right now here on Periscope. Are you friends with the dodgy copper off Coronation Street, says Caroline. Don't know who the dodgy copper is, Caroline. So there's a member of Acts on this community called Mark Morell, who's like nice copper. Don't think he's a dodgy copper. He's the guy who goes in and arrests people for being bad. I don't know who the dodgy copper is. For those listening on the audio experience, good evening or afternoon or morning, whenever you listen to this. Massively appreciate you being here. You just missed us talking about Lucy, who's on the scope tonight, who just did her debut in Coronation Street. When was it, Luce? A couple of nights ago, wasn't it? And then you're on again tonight. Or was it yesterday and then tonight? I can't even remember. I don't even know what day of the week it is, but we were just saying massive congrats. So yeah, if people were wondering why we're talking about Corrie, that is why. So good evening, like I say, so everyone watching live. Hello to everyone watching on the audio experience, listening on the audio experience, and hello to everyone watching on the replay on YouTube or actonthis.tv. It's the book club. It's Wednesday night. We're looking at an awesome book this month of June called The Slight Edge. Which is a great book by Jeff Olson, and it's ultimately it's a book that it kind of applies a really, really simple principle, but it's a principle that can have, such massive, massive impacts. And I'm gonna go over a chapter in the book tonight, and then I'm gonna give you an example in the acting industry of how you can use this principle we're gonna look at tonight to get such a massive, massive head start on the competition. Caroline says loves this book. Set Jeff has just joined. No, Set F has just joined. Set Jeff, Set F. Hello. Good evening. Whatever your real name is, that's your username. But yeah, it's a really simple principle. The Slight Edge basically, guys, says, look, in fact, let me throw up some little things to illustrate. For those on the audio experience, if you want to look at these slides, get over to actonthis.tv. You can watch the replay. But ultimately, the Slight Edge is this, guys. We looked at this little oscillation curvature here, which oscillates between failure and survival, and you can see the success level above survival. And share this for me, guys, if you would, by the way, as well. If you're on Periscope or if you're watching on Facebook Live, just click share, or if you're on Periscope, hit the little 3 buttons. Give it a retweet if you're watching on Twitter, because this is really going to help anyone and everyone tonight. If we get eyeballs on this, people are going to get a lot out of this. So I would massively appreciate a cheeky retweet or a share on Facebook. But yeah, these 3 lines here, failure, survival, success. Ultimately, what the Slight Edge, what Jeff's book tells us is, look, the things that get you from failure to survival are the same things that would get you from survival to success if only you kept on doing them. And those things are often insignificant or seemingly insignificant decisions that you make every single day. And one of those decisions today will have been what you had for your dinner. It might have been whether you took action on your dreams today or not. It might have been whether you worked out today or not. Stephen, good evening. Lots of things that seem insignificant, like on a daily basis, but they really, really compound and add up over time. So ultimately, sometimes when we feel like we're really failing at something, we have a little crazy moment where we're like, right, this isn't good enough. I'm sick of this. I'm not living like this anymore. And we start taking action. Give me some hearts if you've done this before, where you've gone, enough is enough. I'm sick of living this shit. I'm getting out of this job or this relationship or just this rut that I'm in. And you get a little bit crazy for a minute and you start taking consistently good action and start making some much better decisions. All the hearts are coming through. Now, what those consistently good decisions, no matter how small you may think they are, do is they get you from from failure up to survival. Okay, now then what happens is you go, I feel so much better now. I'm not failing anymore. I'm actually doing all right. I'm doing well enough, to make me feel okay about myself. And unfortunately, the really shit thing about that is we stop then making those good decisions on a daily basis. And then what happens is you can see on the oscillation line there, we start sliding back down the hill. And so eventually 6 months goes by, we don't know what's hit us, and we're like, shit, I'm back in Failureville, the failure zone. And then you have that crazy moment again, you're like, right, this isn't good enough. I put on 2 stone or whatever, I'm going to the gym. I see it all the time. Then you start going to the gym again for 6 months. You get into a reasonable shape. You might lose a stone. You go, okay, I'm going to give myself a little treat because I really deserve it because I've lost a stone. Not focusing on the stone that you've got to lose, to get back into like really good shape. And then you start sliding back down to failure. So what the Slight Edge does is it turns this oscillation line into this. Those who are watching live can see the slides. It does this. You basically continue to take that daily, consistently good action, those good decisions, and those things that seem small have a massive impact over time and lead to ultimate success. And Jeff talks about this in the book in chapter 1. He says, look, there's ultimately what he calls a beach bum. There's 2 lives he's led. He lived half of his life as a beach bum, half of his life as a millionaire. He says there's a beach bum and there's a millionaire in all of us. He says, but the thing that makes that difference between the two is ultimately you and the choices you make. And we're going to look particularly at choices tonight. However, before you can really get a tackle on your consistently good decisions, we looked last week in chapter 2 about the philosophy you first of all need to have in order for those actions to actually have that impact that you really want them to have. And we looked at this, why philosophy is so important. And your philosophy is not like any esoteric, really intellectual thing. It's not Greek philosophy or anything bullshit like that. It's ultimately the view you have on the world, how you hold, your ultimately your kind of standards of life, what you demand from yourself and you demand from other people. If you look at the slide on your screen now, it shows you why that's so important, because your philosophy in life creates your attitude to the world. It creates your actions, because your attitude is going to dictate what actions you take. If you've got a bad attitude, a negative attitude to the world, you're going to either, take no action, first of all, because you just can't be arsed, you've got no motivation. Or if you've got a really positive attitude and a positive outlook, then you are going to take action. And then your action dictates your results. And your results, you'll see on the slide there, and again, sorry for those in the audio experience, the slide goes from results to creating your life. So your philosophy creates your attitude, which creates your actions, which creates your results, which ultimately creates your life. And we went through a few examples of philosophies last week. They are things like Nike's philosophy, for instance, is just do it. It's a pretty good philosophy, to be honest, because just do it is going to dictate your attitude to life, which is I'm just going to do it, which then dictates your actions. I'm just going to do it. And because you're just doing it and you're taking massive action, your results are going to be great, which means you're going to create a very good life for yourself. My philosophy that I started living, probably 5 years ago, that changed my life in so many extraordinary ways was this, and I'll put a slide up now. It says you will get everything you want out of your life and more by helping everyone else get what they want out of their lives. And that's the whole reason, to be honest with you guys, I'm here tonight doing this scope for free at 9:10 on a Wednesday night. I'm going to give an hour of my time and as much value as I possibly can to everyone on this scope on Facebook to help you guys get what you want out of your life, because ultimately that fills me up so much and I get everything that I need out of my life by doing this and more, so much more as well. Gone are the days where I have to kind of beg people for things, for favors. People want to do stuff for me because ultimately I'm just putting good value out into the world on a daily basis. And I think anyone who does that, you will see major shifts in your success if you live your life from this kind of philosophy. It doesn't mean you have to live from this exact philosophy, but from a philosophy ultimately that where the intent is pure, where you are trying to make a positive impact on a daily basis. You will have a great life if that's what you do. Because we'll go back to that slide there, because if your philosophy is good, your attitude is going to be good, your action is going to be big, your results are going to be great, and that's going to create a really good life for you. So that's where we ended up last week, okay? Does everyone kind of understand that? Are we on the same page? Well, we are literally on the same page, because I'm going to be starting chapter 3 in 2 minutes. But if you've got any questions about that stuff initially, let us, David is here. David George, I never know what your name is. DeLeon David George, I think is what your name is on Facebook. I've just seen you pop up on here, but I don't know, what is that, like all one name, or is that like, what's your first name, or what do you go by? That's not your full name. Let me know. Great to see you on the scope though. Stephen says he's on page 34. Well, I don't know if that's the page I'm going to be on, Steve, but I'm going to tell you in a minute. We're actually on. There's no page numbers in this bloody book. Oh no, 29. But we will be looking at page 34 at some point. Who's this? Corey. Hope you're doing well. I hope you are doing well as well. There's a lot of people joining for the first time tonight, which I like. Thanks for being here. This is a really great chapter of the book, guys. There's some incredible lessons to be learnt in this. And it's effectively tonight. It's a little bit of story time, to be honest. But if you, if you want to get like a hot, you don't want a hot chocolate on a night like this, but if you want to sort of settle yourself in, I'm going to read you some George DeLeon. There you go, George. Got you, man. Because I didn't quite know when I'm sending you emails. was setting up my email stuff before for Bulletproof Actor, for those guys who have watched the Bulletproof Actor free video 1 so far of the video series. I'll talk about that in a bit as well. If you want to get this video series, guys, I swear, I promise you will change your life, get to bulletproofactor.com and opt in. It goes away next Thursday. It's a free series that's only available for 7 days. Go get it. But yeah, I didn't know what I was going to write to your name as, DeLeon David George. I didn't know. I was like, what name do we go on? But that's good. Glad we cleared that up. Right, so I'm digressing. Chapter 3 is called The Choice, guys, and it starts with a brilliant quote. It says, look, I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. You get busy living or you get busy dying, all right? And that's a quote by Andy Dufresne in The Shawshank Redemption. Brilliant film, one of my favourite films of all time. If it's your favourite film or one of your top 5, give me some hearts. Or if you're on Periscope. Just before we start, I'm going to check Facebook's still running all right. I always get a bit paranoid when I'm doing these dual casts. Yes, it is. Facebook is great. So thanks for those watching on Facebook Live right now. So, starts off like this story, all right? It says, a wealthy man nearing the end of his days summoned his twin sons to his bedside and told them that before he died, he wanted to pass on to them the opportunity to experience the richness of life that he'd enjoyed for his many years on Earth. This is such a good story. You might have heard it. If you have, don't spoil it for anyone. If I could do so, I would give you both the world, he told his boys. But of course I can't. Instead, I'm leaving you both with a gift. The boys both wept to hear their father speak of his approaching death, but he bade them hush with a wave of his hand. I'm giving you each a purse to finance your adventure. What goes into each purse is your choice. The man lifted a pair of beautiful lacquer boxes from the bedside table onto his lap and then reached inside one and held out his hands to his sons. One hand grasped a sheaf of 1,000 crisp, new $1,000 bills. No, it doesn't, Steve. Steve's trying to give a spoiler away on the Periscope there, but he definitely does not do that. So yeah, $1,000 bills. That's $1 million, okay? In cash. So in one hand, he's got $1 million in the palm of his hand, sat $1 million. Now in the other palm, sat a shiny new copper penny. So literally just 1 penny, all right? I offer the same choice to you both. The $1 million or this single penny. Whichever you choose, you must leave it in your purse under my butler's care for 1 full month to give you time to think about how you'll use it. Whatever you do not take, whatever you do not take will be returned to my estate, which I'll leave to charity. One more thing, he added. If you choose the $1 million, you may, if you wish, draw against it as credit with my bank in town. As in, like, now. Okay, you can have that money now. If you choose the penny, you can also draw against it. But every day you choose to leave the penny's line of credit untouched, my butler has instruction to double the contents of the purse for as long as it is under his care. Now go and rest and think. Here, take this book with you to pass the evening hours. Tomorrow morning, come back and tell me your choice. He gave them each a copy of a little book of stories, kissed them both, and sent them on their way. Late that night, the first boy lay in bed, musing over the day's events. Which should I take, he wondered. And why is our father giving us this choice? Unable to sleep, he turned on his light and looked around for the book his father had given them both. He figured a little reading would help pass the time, and who knew, maybe he'd get sleepy. He found the book and for the first time noticed the title embossed on the cover in simple gold lettering, and it's called The Choice. So to recap, Dad's going to die, 2 twin sons, they get the option, $1 million or 1p. If you want the $1 million, you can have it now as a credit, okay, but you're actually not going to get it properly for a month. If you want the 1 penny, you can have it now, or you can keep it under my butler's care for a month, and if you don't touch it, I'll double its contents every single day you don't touch it. So you've got $1 million now, or a penny that's going to double in value every day you don't touch it for the first month. Pretty good, right? Good choices to make. Well, it's a dilemma. I don't know what choice you would say. Just out of interest now, what would you take? $1 million right now as credit, or are you going for the penny that's going to double every day for 30 days? What are you having? What are you having? Come on, guys. Give me some comments. This is The Choice that you have got in your life right now, what are you saying? I can't choose, says Dawn. Dawn's lost it. She just can't choose. She can't take it, bless her. Don't try and figure it all out too much. I know what I'd choose, but I'd heard the story, says Tony. Okay. Hannah says $1 million. I mean, it's still nice, isn't it? $1 million, like, up front, is pretty sweet. Bobby's superficial, so as hell, so $1 million he's taking. Steve says, oh, God, I can't remember. I didn't see what you said then, Steve. You said something about something savage. Trickery, says Caroline. The penny, says Regan. Right, well, here we go. Let's see who chooses what. 'Cause this is just a brilliant, brilliant story. Okay, so we're still with the guy who, like, can't sleep and he's looking at the book, okay? And let's have a look. Sharon's saying maybe the penny's worth more in the long run. Well, we'll see, Sharon. He says, he muttered. The choice sounds mysterious. Choice between what and what? Flipping through the book's pages, he saw that each of its many chapters was no more than a single page long, and at least at first glance, their titles didn't appear to have anything to do with each other. It seemed like a random assortment of fables or children's stories. He was about to toss the book aside, but some nudge from within whispered, "Go ahead, read a little." He turned back to the first story, which was called The Water Hyacinth, and began to read. So I'm going to read you the story of the water hyacinth. Good story, all right? Once there was a little water hyacinth that grew near the edge of a big pond. It had dreams of seeing the other side of the pond, but when it murmured to itself about those dreams, the water just laughed and lapped at it dismissively. The other side, indeed, for a little plant that couldn't even move, impossible, said the water. Bloody scummy water. Maybe people have said it to you and you're like, look, I want to really go for it as an actor, and they've gone, whatever. You're just a little weed, you're never going to make it. Maybe you relate. The water hyacinth can typically be found floating on the surface of ponds in warm climates around the world, and is a beautiful plant with delicate 6-petal flowers that range from purplish blue to lavender to pink. This particular plant was a perfect specimen. It was very beautiful, very small, and very delicate. However, and this is something the water didn't know, the water hyacinth is also one of the most productive plants on Earth. That word, remember it, productive. With a reproductive rate that astonishes botanists and ecologists. A single plant can produce as many as 5,000 seeds, but its preferred method for colonising a new area is not to cast its seeds to the wind or water, but instead grow by doubling itself, sending out short runner stems that become daughter plants. Okay? So it doesn't just whack its seeds everywhere. It's very specific. It kind of like feeds itself. The first day this little water hyacinth appeared, no one but the water even noticed it was there. No one noticed it on the second day either, as it doubled, nor on the third or the fourth, as it doubled again, and then once more. It was so insignificant, in fact, that for the first 2 weeks, even though it doubled in size every day, you'd have had to search hard to see it at all. By day 15, it had reproduced to cover barely 1 square foot of water, a tiny dollop of lavender pink dotting the pond's glassy green surface. On day 20, 2/3 of the way through the month, one person passing by the pond noticed a little patch of foliage floating off to the side, but mistook it for a lost bath towel or perhaps a discarded piece of wrapping paper, so it still wasn't that big. More than a week later, on day 29, half the pond's surface was still open water. And on day 30, just 24 hours later, the water's surface had totally disappeared. On day 29, it's only half covered. The next day, it doubles in size. It's completely taken over the pond, guys, all right? The entire pond had been overtaken by a rich blanket of purple-pink water hyacinth. The boy imagined the pond covered with the lush, gorgeous plant. Not sure what that has to do with a choice, he said out loud. He stretched and yawned. That's enough reading for one night anyway, he said. He turned off the light and settled against the pillow. A minute later, he was sitting up again. Switching on the light, something prodded him to keep going and taking more of this book. Turning the page, he came to the next story, this one entitled, In the Pail. Once again, he began to read. So it's a great story initially, all right? Ultimately, that thing was working hard every single day, that hyacinth. Doubling its size, doubling its output, doubling its output. It seemed like it was getting absolutely nowhere. Day 29 comes along, it's still only halfway there. Bang, doubles its output by day 30, it's taken over, all right? That right there is the slight edge. Every single day, ultimately ending up having a massive, massive impact. But let's have a look at what the pail, in the pail is. It's another story. Two frogs, and you might have heard this before as well, but it's no harm in emphasising this again. Two frogs left the safety of their swamp one day and ventured into a nearby farm to explore. Soon they found themselves in a dairy where they found a large milk pail. Hopping into the pail, they found it was half filled with fresh cream. The two little frogs were absolutely thrilled. They'd never tasted anything so delicious. Soon their bellies were full. Feeling sleepy, they decided it was time to leave, and that's when they realised they were in trouble. They'd had no trouble hopping in, but how were they going to get out? The inside of the pail was too slippery to climb, and because they couldn't reach the bottom and there was nothing for them to step on for traction, hopping to safety was out of the question too. They were trapped. Maybe you've been there, man. You've got yourself into something and gone, shit, I'm trapped now. I can't get out of this thing. What am I going to do? Frantic, they began thrashing about, their feet scrabbling for a foothold on the elusive slippery curve of the pail sides. Finally, one frog cried out, "It's no use, we're doomed." "No," the other frog gasped. "We can't give up. When we were tadpoles, could we have dreamed that one day we would emerge from the water and hop about land? Swim on, brother, and pray for a miracle." But the first frog only eyed his brother sadly. "There's no miracles in the life of a frog," he said. "Farewell." A bit defeatist, isn't it? But he goes, "Farewell." And he sank slowly out of sight. It's like out of the Titanic. Jack, don't go. The second frog refused to give up. Okay, so what I want you guys to do. He continued paddling in the same tiny circle over and over and over, hoping against hope for a miracle. An hour later, he was still paddling in his futile little circle. He no longer even knew why. His brother's dying words clutched at his thoughts as fatigue tugged at his tiny little muscles. Was my brother right, he thought desperately? Are there no miracles in the life of a frog? Finally, he could swim no more. With a whimper of anguish, he stopped paddling and let go, ready to face his fate. You know what, guys? It's like my ultimate nightmare, that. It's like if I had a nightmare, it would be drowning. It would be that point where you have to give up. I'm so stubborn. I take it to the end, but man, that's just like... Particularly if it's in a vat of cream. Don't know what that'd be like. But by this time, okay, so he's looking at his fate of the frog. He's reading this, boy's still reading this story. Sharon said he should have blown himself up like a balloon. Well, you know, if you can. But by this time, right, the boy's reading the story. Oh, and then he's unable to keep his eyes open any longer. He's fallen fast asleep as the frog paddled in his desperate circle, refusing to give up. Somewhere in the back of his mind, though, the boy had already guessed how this tale of two frogs would turn out, and his guess was pretty much the way the story's last paragraph did in fact read. And it read like this. Yet to his surprise, unlike his brother, the second frog did not sink. In fact, he stayed right where he was, as if suspended in mid-air. He stretched out a foot tentatively and felt it touch something solid. He heaved a big sigh, said a silent farewell to his poor departed brother frog, then scrambled up onto the top of the big lump of butter he had just churned, hopped out of the pail and off towards his home in the swamp. So he'd swam and swam and swam and swam and swam in these little tiny circles so much he'd turned that cream into butter because of his output, tiny, tiny output, consistently over time, having massive, massive impact. Again, the frog, without knowing it, was using the slight edge, okay? So he says, that night, the boy dreamed of frogs paddling on a bed of flowers, floating on a pond of pennies. The wealthy man's other son, however, lay awake that night too, but he never opened his copy of the storybook their father had given them. He was too busy thinking to sleep or read. He'd made his decision the moment his father had held out that sheaf of $1,000 bills. He was already making his plans for his next 31 days. When morning came, he sprang into action. So this kid's going to take the $1 million. Is it going to be the right choice? Let's see. After notifying his father of his choice, he opened his $1 million line of credit at his father's bank. Next, he hired an executive director to help him execute his ambitious plan, and the two rented out a hotel suite in the centre of town where they conducted interviews for the next 6 days. By week's end, they'd hired a staff of the sharpest financial advisors, market analysts, and investment experts available. So this guy's going all out, man. He's like, come on, let's do this. I've got my million. Let's go. The group spent the second week researching, brainstorming, and drafting strategies to help the wealthy man's son transform his $1 million windfall into a genuine fortune. By the beginning of week 3, they were locked and loaded and ready to rumble, and off they marched into the battlefields of commerce and speculation to turn the boy's million into billions. A few days later, the boy decided to pay a visit to his brother to see what he was doing with his million. But when he arrived, he found to his astonishment that his brother had turned down the million and taken the penny instead. So the greedy guy thought the other guy was going to be greedy as well. Realised he wasn't. I went to see father again the day after we all met, the first boy told his brother, and his butler gave me a peek into the purse. My lone penny had been joined by a companion. On the third day, I went back, peeked in again, and now saw 4 pennies, because it's doubling every single day. On the fourth day, there were 8. The brother listened in disbelief as the boy continued describing his insignificant little pile of pennies. On day 5, there'd been 16 pennies. On day 6, 32. And by week's end, the boy had amassed a whopping nest egg of 64 cents. By the end of the second week, the cache of pennies was just shy of $90, at $81.92 to be precise. Not even enough to pay for a decent dinner for 2 at the hotel where his brother's ace financial team had their base of operations. Now, a few days into the third week, the purse... I've lost my place now. Well, wait a second, guys. I've just lost my place. The purse had grown to $655.35. Barely enough to sustain the boy on his own for a week. You poor sap, cried his brother. I can't believe you went for the penny. But it's not too late. Visit father, see if he'll let you change your mind. Even if he gives you only half your million, it's certainly better than scraping by on what you've got now. Or at least let me help. I can't stand the idea of you venturing out into the world with scarcely enough to feed yourself for a week. So $1 Million Boy's like, oh, you're so poor, whatever. Have some of my money. But the first boy, he wouldn't hear any of it. That night, the old man died peacefully in his sleep. Towards the end of the month, the second boy's executive director brought him some worrisome news. The markets had gone a bit soft, and the team's earlier rosy projections would need to be revised down a little bit. The boy thanked him and waited anxiously for the next report. So the investments ain't going that well on $1 million. On the morning of day 31, the day on which the boys were to visit the butler and finally receive their purses, the executive director came back with his final report. He shuffled his feet and cleared his throat for a minute. What do you reckon he's going to say? Give me some hearts if you think he's going to say good news. Give me some no's in the comments if you think he's going to say bad news. What's happened to this $1 million, do you reckon? He's shuffling his feet and he's clearing his throat and asking for a glass of water. So it might kind of give it away. I think people are probably going for the bad... Everyone's saying no and bad news. Yeah, okay. Let's see then. So the news was some investments had performed quite well. All right, that's all right. That's pretty good news. Others had suffered. All in all, the boy had made a modest gain. Pretty good news. The team had succeeded in parlaying his 1 million into nearly 1.5 million. An appreciation of 50%. That was the good news. And the bad news? The boy held his breath. Well, continued his executive director. Expenses including the team's commissions, taxes, broker fees, interest on the credit line, the bill for the hotel suite. He cleared his throat again, took a sip of water again and continued. And of course, my salary for the month come to just over $1.75 million. The boy was $250,000 in the red. Not only was he not rich, he actually owed a fortune. He was ruined. In a panic, he rushed across town to see his brother, and this time he received an even larger shock than the first time he'd gone to visit. This is where this slight edge comes in. Listen to this, guys. On day 28, the first boy's purse of pennies had passed the $1 million mark. Just by day 28, he started with a penny, doubling each day. By day 28, it passed the $1 million. And on day 29, the $2.5 million mark. Yesterday, on day 30, it had exceeded $5 million. And today, when the butler handed his purse over to his own care, it had topped out at $10,737,418. $10,737,418.24. So nearly $11 million. The boy who chose to wait for the penny had discovered the extraordinary power that some call the eighth wonder of the world. The remarkable creative force of compound interest. And you might remember this from your maths lessons at school that you probably hated, but as an adult, this is so freaking important, all right? The very same force that blanketed the pond's surface with water hyacinth and churned the frog's cream into butter. The boy who chose the million was broke and deeply in debt. The boy who chose the penny was worth more than $10 million. Okay? And that resonates with me like massively. In this industry as actors, guys, like it very often doesn't seem like you're making headway. Give me some hearts if that's you and you're like, shit, I've been at this for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. I still don't feel like I'm making headway. I don't feel like I'm getting there yet. I should be so much further ahead than I am. Let me tell you this, and I've experienced this not as much as I want myself, a little bit, but I've seen it in other people massively. So there was a girl I mentioned who I'm working on this drama with on the 14th of July. I start this drama called Age Before Beauty for BBC One. A girl called Vicky Myers in that. It's a girl I've known for about 10, 12 years. Met her in acting class a decade ago. She's been trying, consistently putting out good work all the time, getting nowhere, really. The odd little part, 1 line here, 2 lines there, non-speaking role here, that kind of thing. She goes about putting good work out, though, like every single day, networking, working for casting directors, making headway, sending stuff out, communicating with people, offering help, giving value. 3 months ago, got the call for this audition for Age Before Beauty. Her first lead role it would have been if she went for it. Cut a long story short, smashed it. And now she's got a role that will change her life because she will probably get a second and a third series out of this, and then she will go on and on and on to continue to work. That compound interest of that work over the last 10 years, day in and day out, churned that cream into butter. I've seen it happen to so many other people as well. You know, a friend of mine, George Bukhari, Thomas out of that, and Abby Robert James Collier. You know, he ended up earning an incredible amount, 7 figures out of Downton Abbey. And it wasn't an overnight thing. It took him so much. The guy's super dedicated. I know a lot of people, I interviewed Rob on actonthis.tv, go and watch the interview. A lot of people kind of dismiss him a little bit because he's proper northern, proper mank. They think maybe he's a bit of a little bit of a scally kind of guy. Oh, he just got by in his looks, that kind of thing. He's a good looking guy. His work ethic is incredible. I can't tell you how dedicated and driven and focused that guy is, and also turning down stuff. The guy just turns down stuff that he doesn't think is in alignment with his values and his philosophy that we talked about before. The compound interest on that hard work just paid massive, massive dividends for that guy. And it's something to celebrate. It's not something to be jealous of. It's something to take inspiration from, to go, look, if we are using this principle of the slight edge, we need to build an unshakable trust in ourselves that it will pay off by the equivalent of day 30, day 31. Okay, by day 29, remember the hyacinth had still only grown half of the pond. It was only halfway on its journey. Just one day later, bang, it had completed it. And that could easily be you. We don't know what's going to happen this week for you. The phone could ring. Your agent could get you something. You could get an agent if you haven't got one already. You could get a break. You've just got to keep showing up. So the book continues, says, look, he says, look, I know, the story of 2 sons is only a fable. Over here in real life, there's no butler doubling your money every day for a month. Over here in real life, though, things work out that way a lot more than you might think. And the book goes on to explain how his mum put some money away, just $250 a month. That's all she did for 18 years. And then she stopped putting that money away because she didn't have to anymore. Just $250 a month for 18 years. And then no more investment after that, based on an 8% interest rate over time if you put it into a fund, would amass you over $1 million by the retirement age of 65. So if you started that when you were like 21, put it in for 17 years, till you were, 38, put no more money in. By the time you were 67, you'd be able to retire with $1 million in the bank. That's what the rest of the chapter goes on to talk about. But I don't want to read you the rest of that because it's all, it's a similar, we're going to talk about it. I want to give you a real life example of how you can actually apply this to your acting career and give you some stats that might surprise you. I surprised myself when I worked this out before. I'm just going to give you the essential points from chapter 3 before we go into that though. So essential point number 1 from chapter 3 is simple daily disciplines, little productive actions, okay? Little productive actions. You've got to be productive. Don't procrastinate and lie in bed all day feeling sorry for yourself. But little productive actions repeated consistently over time add up to the difference between failure and success. That's pretty simple and straightforward. The slight edge is relentless and cuts both ways. So you need to look at this as well, all right? Don't think, I can't be bothered with a slight edge, so I'm just not that bothered about all that big success. I'll just stay where I am. If you're implementing the other way around, you're actually taking yourself down a downward spiral, okay? It works the other way, okay? Simple daily disciplines or simple errors in judgment, repeated consistently over time, make you or break you. Lying in bed until 9, okay. I like to have a bit of rest. Depends on what time you go to bed, Bobby. If you go to bed, if you're getting more than 8 hours sleep, you're probably waking up feeling more tired than you need to be because you should. 8 is sometimes getting up a little bit earlier energizes you. You can oversleep. So I roughly get about 7 hours sleep now, but I get up quite early now because I get a gym workout in first thing in the morning. But don't lie in bed just like being unproductive or, if you go to bed at 10 and you're lying until 9, it's too long, man. You don't need 11 hours sleep. So it can make or break you. It can work the other way. So if you have a burger every day for your lunch for 2 months, you're going to put on weight, guys. You're going to be out of shape. It's an insignificant decision made on a daily basis, but it's a shit decision. And thus it's going to lead to a shit result, okay, in your health and your physicality. Third point that's essential from chapter 3, without the slight edge, you can start with 1 million and lose it all. With the slight edge, you can start with a penny and accomplish anything you want. Boom! Mic drop moment. Thank you, Jeff Olson, for this week. Now, I want to show you an example of this. Be very honest with me because I'm all about taking action and I'll call out all your bullshit and suffocate your excuses. But who's genuinely put enough work into their career and what they want out of life today? How many things have you done today? Have you completed your big 3 that we talk about? Have you accomplished stuff? Have you been productive? Or have you used the heat as an excuse to not do stuff and go, oh, well, it's too hot. It's really too hot to do that. I'll just let the heat, opt me out of doing that thing I was going to do. If you're telling me you want acting career success or success in anything in your life, what have you done today to work towards it? Have you sent any emails? Have you sent any tweets? Have you worked on social media? Have you put some stuff out that's going to gain you attention? Have you created any opportunities on LinkedIn? Have you direct messaged anyone on Instagram? Caroline says, no, thanks for your honesty, Caroline. Shot a pilot. Oh, Bobby, that's good. Shot a pilot, mate. That's good. There's definitely more I could do, Steve says. I definitely need to manage my time better. Thanks for your honesty, Steve. I think for most people it probably is. The reason at the moment I'm doing like 15 hours a day is because I'm in the middle of this Bulletproof Actor launch. But I still like to think I max out a lot of my time. And that's only through writing down, like I've told you so many times before, what I'm going to do the next day, the night before I do it. Done a bit, but definitely could have done more. Let me just share with you this graphic because this will really highlight what I'm talking about. Where is it? This is the compound interest of taking action on a daily basis as an actor in terms of getting attention, creating opportunities. I have a lot of work to do, says David George. But here, check this out, guys. This is some interesting maths. Okay, here's 2 actors. Actor 1 sends 1 tweet a day, sends 1 Instagram direct message per day, and he sends 3 emails per week in his acting career. That creates 884, what I call POC, points of contact, okay, per year. 884 points of contact per year with people in the industry who could help them get what they want out of life. Just 1 tweet a day, 1 Instagram DM per day, and 3 emails a week. It's not a lot of work. Everybody has time to do this. It is not a lot of work. So that's ultimately 17 points of contact a week or 884 points of contact per year. Actor 2 is a lazy bastard. complains about the industry, hates everything, everyone else is getting their success out of luck, they must know someone else, it's not fair, woe me, I have no money, I have no time, I've got to do this, bullshit, right? They send 2 emails a month if they're lucky and they think that's it. 2 emails a month over a year is 24 POC, 24 points of contact per year. Thus, on those figures, which is not a huge amount of work for Actor 1 to do those 17 things there, it would take Actor 2 37 years to do what Actor 1 does in 12 months. Mental, innit? This is how you can literally get a 37-year head start on your competition. No matter how old you are, it will take you 1 year to do it. But if you are consistent, is that tweet to people or just personal tweets? So that's a tweet to a casting director, that's a tweet to an agent, that's a tweet promoting yourself to the general world, Sharon. Doesn't have to be at a particular person. It might be, here's a new cut of my pilot I shot today, Bobby. You know, check this out. Here's, you know, another scene I shot from my show reel. Or here's a clip of me in Coronation Street that I was on tonight, Lucy. That kind of stuff. Sorry, this is a stupid question, but what kind of Instagram DM would you send? So a direct message on Instagram could be to a filmmaker going, hey, notice you make short films. I'm an actor from Manchester. You're based in Manchester because I searched for the hashtag Manchester, or I searched via location for the hashtag filmmaker in Manchester. And I sent you a direct message going, hey, just to let you know, if you're shooting anything and you need an actor, I'm here. That's your direct message. It's simple. It's really simple shit. It's not rocket science, although I've got rocket on the screen there. This is what's going to rocket you. Okay, that's what your Instagram DM is. Or it's DMing a writer, or it's DMing, one of the official accounts from the BBC writer's room or something like that, looking for an opportunity to shadow someone, going, hey, notice you're working on such and such a thing. Would love to come and, sweep the set and make coffee if I can just be around to get some experience. You know, that's your DM on Instagram. And it's one of those a day. Just one. Guys, it's 3 minutes out of your day. A tweet is 3 minutes out of your day. 3 emails a week over 7 days, right? That's maybe, 30 minutes of your week, 10 minutes an email. So for, ultimately, what's that in total? Half an hour. It's probably just over an hour a week. You can get 37 years worth of work done that some lazy actor who's complaining about their life gets done. You can get that done in a year. It's going to take them 37 years to catch up. This is how you will kill your competition if you just commit to it. And this is the power of compound interest in life. Nothing to do with money, just life. So I think it's important. It's powerful, isn't it? What do you reckon? Give me some hearts if you think it's powerful. I think it's just incredible. But it's consistency, and it's turning up day in and day out, day in and day out. But you will see how big that impact is after those 30 odd days. Would you recommend on social media using Gary V method of giving first and then going for the ask? 100%. Tony, that's life, mate. That's the whole, the reason that, I know I could reach out and probably ask you guys for a favor is because I try and give you all as much of my time as I possibly can. You'll notice it might take me a week, 2 weeks to reply to your emails, but I'll reply to every single email I get. I'll reply, if you look at the Bulletproof Actor videos right now, I'll reply to every single comment left on them. I'll try and jump into every single conversation I can help with in the Facebook group, Twitter, Instagram, because I'm all about my philosophy. And my philosophy before, I'll put it back up on the screen, is that I'm going to get everything out of my life by helping you get everything you want out of your life. And I'm going to get loads out of my life and loads more than I ever could imagine by doing that. And that's exactly what's happening for me. But yeah, Gary V's philosophy of jab, 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 right hook is absolutely it. I think it's good to build relationships as part of our action we can do every day. Do you know the best marketing strategy for you all? Like everything, do you know what? Marketing, actually, in general, in terms of having to do sleazy marketing or, salesy shit, you'll notice I hate kind of the salesy kind of stuff. And I'm going to be selling a product next week. I'm going to be selling the full Bulletproof Actor program. But I'm giving people an hour and a half's worth of videos free, first of all, to show you the quality of that before I would ask for anything. But the best kind of like marketing strategy, Tony, is just to care. is to care about the people you are serving and you are giving value to. And I mean genuinely care about them. Not pretend or, just placate them with platitude. And, I hope people kind of realize on here, genuinely care about all of your success, like honest to God. And I celebrate it. And that's another part of my success, because when you guys have success, it just makes the impacts of our community as a whole bigger, doesn't it? If I can go, wow, Tony was a member of this community for a year, changed his philosophy on life, raised his standards, that changed his attitude, which changed his actions, which dictated his results, which created this new life for him, that's like so much better than the old life. So if you come and join this community, which is a massive force for good and positivity in the industry, it could do the same for you. So we all win. And then we learn from your experience that you can pass on to other people. That, the beautiful thing about becoming a better person yourself in all walks of life is you can pass that knowledge on to other people to make them better people themselves. And that's like the most satisfying, fulfilling thing that there is. Contribution is like the 7th level of human need. We go like certainty, variety, significance, love and connection. Then we go to growth, and then contribution as well. I used to fall victim to asking all the time and not building relationships want to make. Yeah, you've got to just give first. I get this twofold. Oh, I missed that comment, Sharon. Apologies for that. But it's really, really important, just to give. And one thing I've got to give you guys, if you've not got these videos yet, get yourself over. Let's have a look. Have I got it here? Yeah, to bulletproofactor.com and get this free positive psychology, like mindset coaching series that I've put out. The comments I've had on it, guys, are just incredible. Absolutely, I'm in awe of the impact that it's making on people. I've had so many emails from people, and you'll see underneath video 1 when you opt in for the videos, the comments people have already made on it. Video 1 is out now. It's a 3-part series. Video 2 is coming out on Friday, and video 3 is coming out next Tuesday. It's about an hour and 30 minutes of free training that's super in-depth, and it's going to teach you a science-backed strategy to crush your limiting beliefs about yourself. So they are things that might have been told to you years ago that you feel shit about today. You might have been told at school you weren't good enough, you weren't good looking enough, told at an acting class you'd never make it, this, that, and the other, and you're still holding on to that limiting belief about yourself. 10 years later, even though you've come on so much in your career, so much as a person, you're so much stronger. A friend of mine was told his reading age was 3 years behind when he was 11. That guy's 35 today nearly. There's nothing wrong with his reading at all, but if you ask him to stand up at an event and speak, read something at a wedding or a christening, he shits his pants because he's created limiting beliefs about himself 20-odd years ago that he still lives with today. And you'll have had that. Maybe you went through a relationship that went wrong, someone cheated on you, you had heartbreak or whatever, and now you're like, you don't trust anyone because that's a limiting belief, that everyone is bad, everyone's going to cheat on you. What a bullshit limiting belief to think that, the other 3.5 billion men or women on the planet are going to cheat on you. Crazy, but people do that. They live with these limiting beliefs. They create a limited belief system that stops them in their tracks. This 3-part video series teaches you how to break down those limiting beliefs in a brain-dead simple way. A great strategy you'll find in video 2. And then in video 3, I literally give you a formula. And I know this sounds like, people go, oh, this is bullshit. It sounds so grand, but I will give you a formula that you can literally apply and you will guarantee yourself success if you do. And I mean that. You will absolutely guarantee yourself success if you do that. There's just no alternative, effectively, if you do the thing that I say. Nicole has just Gaskill has just jumped in to get the video series. Shout out to you. But yeah, it's super, super powerful. Like I say, video 1 is out now. Watch it because video 2 is out on Friday. Video 3 is out on Tuesday. And then it goes away on the Thursday because the full Bulletproof Actor program that I run, I'm only running it once this year. I normally do it twice a year. It's a 5-week super in-depth confidence installation program called Unstoppable Confidence, Infinite Success. It's 10 years of science-backed positive psychology study that I have done and implemented into my own life to literally transform my own life from a guy who worked in a shop, hating his life for minimum wage, with a dream to be an actor. And I implemented all of this stuff over the last decade, and it's literally transformed my life. I work almost every day as a voiceover artist. I've never worked more as an actor. I run an online business that I absolutely adore. I've created a community that I've got amazing people in like you guys, and it's all down to the formula that I talk about in video 3 of the free series that we completely go into an insane depth about over 5 weeks and 33 videos of coaching, live coaching calls with me as well in the full program. And that gets released next Thursday. It's only available for registration for 7 days. That's again going to be at bulletproofactor.com from next Thursday. But if you don't get these videos before next Thursday, they go away, unfortunately. I take them down when I release registration for the full course. It's just to make people take action. It's the whole reason I do it. It's not to be cruel or to be a bastard and go, oh, I'm going to take this away from you now. You know, I would love to have them up all year round, but I know if I had them up all year round, you wouldn't value them. You think, oh, I'll go and watch that tomorrow, or I'll watch that next week. You'll procrastinate, and you wouldn't get the impact that you can have out of these videos. I'm just going to have a look on Facebook. I feel I've neglected everybody on Facebook tonight. Let's see if anyone's... I don't even know if anyone knew I'm going to broadcast on Facebook. I need to start advertising more that I'm going to be putting these streams out on Facebook. So people are watching on Facebook, but no one's commenting. 198 people knocking around on Facebook, but appreciate the people who have jumped into that, and I can see a couple of people who are watching right now. Shout out to you. But yeah, I will do more Facebook Live so we can build the audience up there as well. But yeah, bulletproofactor.com. I'm just going to have a look actually to see if who's been watching these videos whilst we've been on air, and I'll read you some of the comments. Bulletproofactor.com. Let's get to video 1, and I'll see what people have been doing. I'll give you a shout out if you've just jumped in as well. Nearly there. Don't panic. So, people who have watched the videos tonight are, give you a little shout out, Sam Bolton, Thomas William Kelso, Haley Eyre, Nicole Gaskill. So what are people saying? Hi Ross, cheers for the video. So I asked people about their limiting beliefs in video 1. So Sam said, I believe my limiting belief is my job, and having to put that before my acting career. Oh my God, this is so me at 24. 10 years ago, this was me. I had to put that before my acting career, having to work 4 days a week, all day. I feel as though I can't carry on with my acting career with a full-time job. Shit, man. Oh, that's one hell of a limiting belief, and that's something I lived with for such a long time. And we can break that down, Sam, really easily, mate. I'm going to give you video 2 on Friday, and it's going to give you a strategy to completely crush that limiting belief. I lived with that for so long, thinking that actually if I gave up this job, that was 40 hours a week I was working. I was working 5 days a week, not 4, Sam. 5 days a week, 40 hours, thinking I had to do that to survive so I could then, you know, kind of carry on my acting dreams, not realizing that actually it was completely incongruent with success. I could not give 40 hours to something I hated, expecting to have success in something else when I had like 2 days a week on a weekend when the acting industry is effectively closed to make any headway. It was utter bullshit. And I used the strategy that I'm going to teach you in video 2 to crush that limiting belief, disprove it, prove that it's absolutely wrong and a complete limiting belief. You know, it's absolutely paralyzing me. And ultimately, yeah, I crushed that within 6 months, implemented the formula from video 3, mate, and I got out of that place. 6 months later, I got my first TV job. It was only 6 lines on Emmerdale. The day after that, I got my second TV job on something called Accused with Peter Capaldi and Juliet Stevenson. A couple of weeks after that, I mean, I had so much success in a very quick time when I got my head around all the shit I was doing wrong. And it's all because of what I teach in this series. So massive shout out to you. But the video 2 and 3 is really, really going to help you guys. So thank you. Go and watch those videos. They really will help you. And I'm going to be back. Oh, this video is going to include a money-making opportunity. Tony, yeah. So, yeah, I was saying someone DM'd me on Facebook with a money-making opportunity in the acting industry the other day. And I was saying, guys, there's so many bullshitters in this industry. Please be careful who you give your money to. When I open the full program up for Bulletproof Actor, Unstoppable Confidence, Infinite Success next Thursday, of course there's a price tag attached to it. Because it took me 10 years of study and implementation in my own life to come up with. It took me a full year to write the course, film the course. It's the most in-depth program you will have on mindset, probably like full stop in mindset in general. It could be called Bulletproof Plumber, Bulletproof Mother, Bulletproof Racing Driver. It's called Bulletproof Actor because I lightly coat it with the acting industry, how you apply the stuff. But the stuff is like the content in there is universal, and it will absolutely change your life. You only need to watch the testimonial videos I'm going to be putting out to prove that's true. I only want to participate if there's money involved and woo-woo magic. Tony, it's not for you, mate. It's not for you. Tony, mate, I would love you. Seriously, we had on the last intake last February some people from America. Massive shout out to Ruben. He was in, where's Ruben? I think he was in Chicago as well. Tony, you might have been close to you, mate, but he travels around. We had Richard Haler in Miami. Karen Cormier, I don't know where she was, but she's on here. Miss Gypsy is her username. She comes on the Periscopes as well. Who's not even an actor. She just had so much fun on the Periscopes and was like, this stuff is so universal. I'm going to come on the program. Gary Thomas, who's on these Periscopes with us, he's a writer. It's not about necessarily even being an actor. If you're just creative in the creative industry, or you want to set yourself free of all the bullshit that's been limiting you for years, this program's for you. I don't care if you're an actor or not. There's a 30-day, here's something, Tony, about the money. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. This is how I believe in this so much. Karen's Michigan, is she? Oh, okay, wicked. I give a 30-day money-back guarantee. Buy the program. All I ask is you go through it fully. And I can see, because this software is very clever, I can see what videos you've watched. I want you to fill in your workbooks. You must do that. But if you can prove to me you've filled it all in, you've watched all the videos, you've taken part in the live calls if you go for the VIP package and you want live one-to-one training with me. If you go through that and you're like, Ross, this is bullshit, I don't feel I got any value from it, I swear to God, you will get every single penny back on the spot. I'm not about taking people's money and holding on to it. If you don't feel you're getting value from me, I don't want to have anything from you. So that's how much I believe in it. Seriously, not a single person, 128 people have been through it so far, not a single person has requested a refund. If anything, people have told me, some people have been like, Ross, this is worth 10 times what you're charging for it. And you're going to see those testimonial videos over the next, well, not this week, but when the full program comes out, just to, you'll see from people who you probably know from the Acts in this community as well. They're legitimate people who you can DM on Facebook and ask them, is this really what you thought of it? It's incredible. I had Michael Jackson email out for me today, the casting director. He's seen people who he's cast go through the program and the difference between them before and after, who he's worked with and actually put in professional TV jobs. He's promoted it today. And when a casting director, he's married to Beverly Keogh, probably one of the top 3-4 casting directors in the UK. He ain't going to promote shit that he's like, this isn't bona fide. So he's got the support of the industry behind it, guys. I would love you to be a part of the full program, but I don't care if you're not. Please go and watch the free videos, because they are still going to have such a big impact on your life. I promise you. And please leave me a comment under the videos once you've watched. If you're listening on the audio experience, bulletproofactor.com, there might still be time. I'm going to upload this the day after it's gone out live at night. Please go and look at them whilst you can. They will come down next Thursday. I can't do anything about that. I've set that, and that's what's going to happen. Caroline said, I saw that. What, Michael's email? Yeah, he said he sent an email out for me before, because he saw a guy called Anthony Maloney who was in his class last year, an older gentleman. And a lot of older people, unfortunately, in life right now, because technology and stuff has evolved so quickly over the last 10 years. People who were in their 60s 10 years ago are like, wow, I've not grown up with any of this stuff. I feel so behind. I don't know how to self-tape. I'm in an industry that kind of is for the young guys now. And I'm like, man, that's such a limiting belief as well. You don't realize how much time you have left on the clock. And we took him through the process, uncovered a load of limiting beliefs that were created many, many years ago from very personal situations. That's a really interesting thing about that program as well. People divulge some very personal stuff. It's a super safe environment on these live calls, but we've had people with really dark times. I mean, things that would crush most people. And we've been able to use the strategies in the course to actually use those things that would crush most people to empower the shit out of them and actually make them go and take action that leads to massive, massive success. In all seriousness, I'd trust any program you put out. You've gained my trust and love your philosophy. Thank you, Tony. I'll be the same with you, though, mate. Seriously, Tony, you are, Tony does live Facebook videos on a Sunday. I sometimes catch him, sometimes I can't. I'll always catch up on the replay if I see it, though, Tony. I can just tell, mate. You can tell in your face, in what you do, how you show up, how much you smile. Do you know what, guys? This is really important. The ROI of a smile is priceless. Absolutely priceless. And if you walk around with a smile on your face and you smile at people, you know what? Some people will look at you a bit weird because we're just not used to doing that. But if you show up professionally in the world as a force for good with a smile on your face, 90% of people are going to react way more positively towards you than if you show up frowning, with a chip on your shoulder. ROI, Bobby, stands for return on investment. So your investment, all you need to do is invest in a smile. And then, I mean, the return on that investment is literally priceless. It's infinite. And Tony, I see that every time you put a video out, mate. You know, even if there's one person watching it, you deliver like there's an audience of thousands. I do the same. You know, sometimes back in the day on Periscope, I'd have one person join, 2 people would join. Very fortunate now that, you know, this, including the replay and the audio experience, each one of these probably goes out to 1,000 people. But it didn't start that way. Compound interest, you know, helped me achieve that by just every single time churning out content that was of value. Shirley Temple was famous for this at school. They asked her parents why she was always smiling. There you go. My teacher, my drama school teacher, said, "You've smiled your way through the course." I said, "I know." Because the alternative for me was like unthinkable, really. I could be like most of the other people on this acting degree who are like having nervous breakdowns because they're so in their own head. And, you know, and selfish. You know, it's kind of selfish. You know, a lot of people sometimes when they're like, "I don't need that to be happy." People say this, "I don't need money to be happy. I don't need money. I don't need this. I don't need that." And I'm like, right, okay. Is that an excuse for you then going, I'm not going to have any success? I don't need money, so I'm not going to have any success. And I say this, that in itself is selfish. It's very egotistical because you might not need that money. But you know what? Your family might need that money if you're a parent, okay? Your church, if you're religious, you know, your friends, charities around you, they might need that money, okay? So it's absolutely your responsibility to be as successful as you can be. And if that means, you know, wealth that comes with that, if you don't need that to be happy, give it away. All right, so what I do on Act On This, okay, the premium memberships that people pay, actonthis.tv, 10 quid a month. Every guest who comes on Act On This gets a charity donation to give to a charity of their choice. Because I'm very fortunate, I work enough as an actor and enough as a voiceover artist that no, I don't need that money. I love running the site, thus I can give it to other people who need my money. So that's why you should be successful as well. If it's not for yourself, for other people, man, particularly if you've got a family, you owe it to them. Karen is here. Miss Gypsy, thank you for retweeting as well. Appreciate you. That's wicked. So it's been a good one. I'm happy about the messages we put out tonight, guys. The slight edge, yeah, it's, you know, it's interesting. I'm going to put that slide up again just for people who might have missed this. This is what we've been talking about tonight, compound interest. Okay, it's not all about money, although we've just been talking about money. So Actor 1 puts out a tweet a day, an Instagram direct message a day, and 3 emails a week. Takes him roughly an hour a week. He gets in touch with people via those ways. So ultimately, by doing that, there's 17 points of contact. POC stands for points of contact. Okay, that gets him 884 points of contact per year by just sending 1 tweet a day, promoting himself on Twitter. Might be a showreel scene, might be, you know, sending their showreel to a casting director or an agent or whatever. A photograph of themselves, something that's going to gain some attention, okay? That's 1 tweet a day. POC and ROI, yeah, I made up POC. ROI is very well known, but yeah, POC, points of contact, made it up. Couldn't fit it on the slide. So yeah, 1 tweet, 1 Instagram DM, which is just literally direct messaging a filmmaker or something, you know, to say, hey, would be great to collaborate. And 3 emails a week to anyone in the industry that's going to progress your career or you think might be a good contact. 884 a year. The lazy actor who doesn't really care about their career but professes they do and how it's all unfair and the world's against them just sends 2 emails a month. Might be you. 24 points of contact a year. Thus, it's going to take Actor 2 37 years to catch up to Actor 1. What Actor 1 does in 12 months takes Actor 2 37 years. Sharon says needs to focus on emails as well. It's just powerful, you know. It's powerful. And your emails, don't overthink them. Don't have to craft them like a Picasso or, you know, some kind of like fine work of art. It's just, hey, this is me. Any opportunities? Ultimately, that's what you're saying. You're just paraphrasing it in a slightly more elaborate way. Don't have to be long, though. 2 paragraphs does it. It's just quick, fast action. Don't think I'll live 37 years. Smoke too much, says Steve. Well, there you go, mate. That's compound interest right there. So smoking today might not have an effect on your health this week. Smoking for the next 3 weeks might have an effect on your health this month. Smoking for the next 10 years, each time you smoke, that's compound interest on your health. It's going to add up, mate, and have a huge impact at some point. I hope it doesn't. Touch wood, it's not going to cause you anything serious. Some people get away with it. Definitely think about it. Definitely think about your standards and whether you want to raise those and get yourself off that. Can't emphasize how much it helps to volunteer our time with theatres and casting directors, says Tony. Yeah, that's value, mate. Give before you ask. You know, I asked Michael Jackson before he sent that email out for me. I was like, mate, anything I can help you promote at the moment. He said, actually, Ross, I've got a workshop I want you to promote with Tim Dowd, the Emmerdale director, that I'm doing on Saturday the 1st of July. Will you send a tweet out for me about it, advertising it to your tribe? I'm like, of course I will, because it's a quality product. He said, what do you want me to do? Anything in return? I said, well, actually, I'm launching this program that, Anthony went on last year. He went, oh, yeah, he won't stop raving about it. He said, I'll email for that for you. I was like, brilliant, there's value. I met one of my favourite theatre CDs last night by filling out. Oh, what did you fill out, Tony? It faded away. I'm sorry, mate. It faded away before I could see that. You met one of your favourite theatre casting directors, because you filled something out, I think you said. Let me know what that was. I want to know before we go. And then before we go, to finish, I'm just going to play you a 50-second video again of why. Volunteer for us, because you filled out a volunteer for us form on the website. Brilliant, Tony. There you go, man. Volunteering is powerful, really powerful. It's how I got into reading in auditions and reading in at read-throughs, and it ultimately got me through the door and sat next to literally the biggest A-list actors in the UK, mate. And that's what started me off on getting those people onto actonthis.tv. It's all about volunteering my services. Right, here you go. Got a little 50-second trailer for you guys on, again, why you should go and get Bulletproof Actor. If I have to convince you anymore, why you've got to go and get the free videos. Bobby says, went to see a play yesterday with an actor I know, had to congratulate him for his acting. That's nice as well, Bobby, celebrating other people's success, mate. There's unlimited success out there. People need to quit looking at it as like a finite amount of success. Oh, that's a mute myself on my mic there. Because, people are like, there's only 100 units of success out there. So Sharon's got 10, and Caroline's got 10, and Tony's got 10. There's only 70 left for me. I'll have to hoard all this information. I won't help anyone out. I can't... celebrate anyone else's success. There's only 70 units left. Oh, shit, Bobby's just got a part. There's only 60 units left. It's like the worst way to look at life. There's an infinite amount of success out there. It's up to you to go and get it, though. And then you celebrate other people's successes. Then people want to be around you and might share that success with you. Think about that. Interesting, innit, eh? But I love it. I enjoy it. It's just good. It's part of the adventure. Jeff uses the word adventure in the book we read tonight, and that's what life is. One massive adventure. Particularly when you're doing a Facebook Live, and I'm trying to check that I can end the video on Facebook. I love it when friends are having success. It's great to see. Steve, I've seen you do that with Lucy's success. Good on you, mate. The 10x rule book says there's no shortage of success. You would all love it. Yeah, 10x rule. I've got it. Grant Cardone. I've got it on the back here, Tony. Always pays to help others. Win-win choices. Absolutely. It's good, man. It's awesome. Well, you guys just rock. That's what we're all about. That's I think everyone who joins these broadcasts on Facebook or Twitter or wherever, I think all of our philosophies are pretty good right now, aren't they? Otherwise you wouldn't be here at 10 o'clock at night. So I'm going to go. I'm going to leave you guys. Check out bulletproofactor.com. Like I say, the second video is out on Friday. Please leave me comments. And also, I'd so appreciate if you'd actually share bulletproofactor.com, just the website address on social media or on Facebook, anything like that. The more people I can get into those free videos, the more impact we can make, because they are seriously powerful. The full program is like the best mindset coaching program on the planet, for actors particularly. The free videos, I've made it like the second best. It's the second best coaching program on the planet for actors. Seriously, it's so powerful. Go watch it. And with that, I'm going to play you this video, and then I'm going to get off, go and get some sleep. But thank you so much for watching. Those are the audio experience. Hugely appreciate you. You're not going to be able to see the pictures now, audio experience people, but you can listen to some cool music. And if you want to watch this video, go and check out my Instagram at ActOnThisTV. Tweet me at ActOnThisTV, where you'll also find this video. And anything, and I really mean this, guys, anything I can do for you, Ross at bulletproofactor.com. It might take me a while to reply, like I say. Sometimes it takes like up to 2 weeks, because sometimes I end up having to sit on a Sunday and honestly go through like over 100 emails sometimes. So sometimes my replies are pretty brief as well. But I will always help out where I can. The Facebook group's probably a better place as well. Facebook.com/groups/ActOnThisTV. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everyone. All the names are flying up there. Massively appreciate you. Check out this video, and I will see you soon. Good night. Bye for now. going to teach you literally a formula for guaranteed success, both in your acting career and your life in general, okay? And by simply sitting in front of your computer or watching on your phone or wherever you're watching, you are going to become a better actor. I absolutely guarantee it. And I know that sounds like a big claim to make, right? But that's how powerful this material really, really is.